celebration of hip hop, the 50th anniversary. I'm doing this video on 8/11 and the significance of 50 years of hip hop is not lost on anyone. Unfortunately, I'm doing a Nike shoe on the day that hip hop was born, and Nike was not really there at the beginning of hip hop like that. So the idea that Nike is such a big, prominent part of the culture around sneakers and hip hop now just shows the power that the brand has after all of these years of being here. And this is the Bronx origins. And if you know, which you should, if you're watching this, more than likely you already know, this is a glow-in-the-dark bottom on this shoe. It's wild, it's crazy. It's got Bronx origins underneath, and on the sock liner on the footbed, it says Golden Celebration with this the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. The shoe has a lot of cues that reflect sneakers from hip-hop's golden age, right? So when we start thinking about hip-hop and we go through the years, and like if you were around when punk rock rap, the Cold Crush Brothers came on the scene, and of course you had Sugar Hill, and then you had Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and then you had The Message. If you keep going through all of these years, Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick, The Show, and just the progression from Dana Dane to MC Light to MC Shan, KRS-One, The Bridge Is Over. And then in Memphis, where I'm from, and then I moved to California, Memphis, if you want to go to Gangsta Pat, not Project Pat, Gangsta Pat, I'm the gangster. Really like the first big Memphis rapper. And you go back out to Cali, and you had Masters of the Universe, Motu, Benny Heron, Orko, gosh, man, Jason Olufemi, Souls of Mischief up to the Bay Area. You're going to get me like going crazy over hip hop and going through all of these years. Like I was going like MC Light, Finesse and Sinquest, gosh, the Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper. Oh my gosh, man, Sweet Tea on the smooth tip. Hip hop is every bit. It's so important to the foundation of culture for me. If you consider BDP and the Stop the Violence movement, or on the West Coast, like I said, when I got out to California, and you had the All in the Same Gang, and then you had the Blood and Crip Truce in the 90s, the Bay Area, E40, and oh man, Mac Mall, right? Mac Dre, RBL Posse, Saphir. I can just kind of, you know, in my head, Paris, The Devil Made Me Do It. Of course, Public Enemy. Can't leave out like Beastie Boys. These shoes, a shoe cannot contain the culture. A shoe can't. This is a nice kind of facsimile of the culture and what it's about. And I mean, I can spin it around, and I have to get to the close-up for you to really, really admire the details on the shoe. But, you know, the first thing is that, like I said, the glow-in-the-dark and the Bronx origins. But with hip-hop, the Native Tongues, Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest, then you had the Fugees come on the scene, and oh man, you know, hip-hop is legendary, even from the Midwest with Common, Nelly, right? And like I said, Memphis, you got 8 Ball, Big Ball, and MJG, 3-6 Mafia. And you go down into Texas and UGK, Slim Thug. Oh gosh, man, Crucial Conflict, back up to Chicago, Kanye, and all of those guys that are, you know, the Chicago people. And then you had like Gangsta Boo, rest in peace, Gangsta Boo. Don Tripp right now. Don Tripp just dropping album after album this year. In the 50th year celebration of hip hop, Don Tripp has dropped 5 albums so far. I think he might have dropped 8. I'm talking more about hip hop, and that's because the celebration of the culture, what it's done all of these years. Now, and I was listening to someone talk about the low frequency of the hip hop today, and I'm like, you know, man, you guys are overlooking people like Mick Jenkins. Mick Jenkins is ill. You overlook people like Pharoah Monch, who's been around for 30 years. 30 years of Pharoah Monch. And if you don't know who Pharoah Monch is, you're not hip-hop. You don't care about hip-hop. As far as I'm concerned, you gotta know who Pharoah Monch is. But like I said, Mick Jenkins, Lupe Fiasco, Currency. You go down to New Orleans, Currency, and of course, Juvenile, Cash Money. Oh my goodness, man. Hip-hop. 50 years. This is the Air Force One. 07 premium. It's $150. The color is black, metallic gold, and white. The style code is FN6835-010. That's going to be found on the inside of the size label as well. I would check the UPC, but I'm only going to look at the last three on the UPC, and that is 188. There's a 16 at the end. Now, why do I check my UPC? Because if I'm trying to make sure my shoes are legit, I go into my size label and I look at the last three on the UPC, and it's 188. The small code is VY, and that is made in Vietnam. The dates of production 02-15-23 to 04-10-23. And we have a lot of things to check that against when we go to that dates of production 04-10. We got a stamp on the inside of the box, and on the inside of that box we got 04-21-23 is perfect. 13. The paper is the star paper. Anytime you get the black box, it's premium, which means that it is $150. Like I said, the leather's much softer on this shoe than you would traditionally find on any Air Force One. Not going to get into whether it's premium leather and all of that stuff. You do have this kind of all over graphic that's on the side, and you'll get to see this. But the crazy part of it is this beautiful Dubré. So usually you have the shoelace down here, but what you got is Run DMC, Adidas, no shoestrings in them. The sneakers that were at the start of hip hop were Pro Kids, Puma, Adidas. Pro Kids, Puma, Adidas. Period. You had Spot Built for a minute, but it was Adidas and Puma. And when you had those Adidas or Pumas, you had fat shoestrings in those joints, and you laced them going across. Man, it was a moment in time that can't be replicated, and it can be because you can just go out and kind of buy the stuff and make it look like it. But the fact that kids like me, we were buying CDs and going to get cardboard and trying to break dance to mimic what was happening and being birthed out of New York. DJ Kool Herc gave us culture. I know that's a lot. The inside of the sneakers are crushed velvet. If that's not an homage to Puma, the idea that you get a Nike homage to Puma with this crushed velvet liner, you know that's what it is. You know that's what it is. The fat shoestrings, Puma, Adidas. You know that's what's up. The Golden Celebration, the print that's on the side, that all over kind of print, reminds you of a Gucci or MCM or a True, all of these different things that people were rocking. DJ Quick, legendary DJ Quick. This black and gold. It's almost like a hologram. I got to get to the close-up because, I mean, I'm way too excited. I'm going to do the close-up so you guys can see the small details, and I'll quit being excited about. I'll never stop being excited about hip-hop. It's not going to happen. I'll never be not excited. People talking albums of the year for this year, for the year of the 50th celebration of hip hop, and Herbert, Ab-Soul. Everybody's like, Killer Mike's got the Herbert, the Ab-Soul album of the year. The Mick Jenkins joint. There's like a bunch of Don Trip albums that have dropped this year, and I mean, I love the fact that there's so much great music that's being delivered to us in the 50th year celebration. Nas with Magic 2 just came out. There's so much good music, man. And then you talk about the British invasion of hip hop, and you got like, gosh, what's her name? Little Sims, right? And you got Koji Radical. Dude, when people talk about hip hop is dead, or that mumble rap, or that it's low frequency, I'm not with you. I'm not with you, because there's so much that you could be listening to. So much that you can be listening to. Let's get to that close up, and then we're going to wrap this up. But I want you to see those fat laces, and I want you to see these braids that are on this shoe. It's just a perfect set of Dubrays. Beautiful homage. Close up. I did all of that talking and didn't even say anything about what you see right behind the sneakers. Wu-Tang. Right? Wu-Tang. Killer Army, the tree that descends from Wu-Tang. I want you to see this Dubray. Is there any more perfect Dubray than New York City 50? Got the little swoosh on there. That is an excellent Dubray. It's a record. 2 turntables and a microphone. Graffiti. Now that's the heel. I wanted you to see that heel with the debossed laser kind of Air Force One. And that's a... Doesn't that sound like vinyl? It is probably vinyl. Even that's just plastic. That's a plastic. Might be a little bit of metal there. I'm not sure. But, you know, look at this thing, man. It's excellent. It's a great shoe. Oh, like I said, fat shoestrings. On a Nike sneaker, fat shoestrings. And then on the inside of it, golden celebration on the footbed. And most definitely that crushed velvet. You know, that's Puma all day. And I know, like, yo, it's not Puma. Everybody wore, you know, rock velour sweatsuits, but yeah, people weren't rocking velour sweatsuits that extensively. You were rocking like trico mesh, you know, Adidas suits and things like that. And then you did have the crushed velour, but that's almost like a 90s thing more than it is the beginning of hip hop. But it's a beautiful shoe, man. I'm Diggable Planets. I can keep going down the list of these amazing hip hop groups that we got to experience over the course of 50 years. And, you know, at the end of the day, we all love hip hop. Everybody does. Even people who say they don't like rap. Everybody does. Because you can't go anywhere without rap and hip hop being involved. So your 4 facets. You better know your four facets of hip hop, right? Turntablism, b-boying, graph, rap. And I think you might want to add sneakers at the end of that. Oh, it's pebbled leather. I'm just dipping it. It's still a coated leather. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not disrespecting the hip hop 50 shoes. They did have another version of this shoe. It was white and had Bronx origin. So the left shoe has Bronx on it. The right shoe has origins, and I'm like dropping it. And that's glow in the dark. So I wanted to make sure I got that in there. It's glow in the dark. The Bronx Origins 50th anniversary celebration of hip hop from Nike. Love hip hop, man. See you guys on the next one. Peace.